What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk on the Tundra, your Green Bay Packers podcast that is a proud partner of the Eurostep Podcast Network and the Blue Wire family. As always, I am your host, Numac, coming to you after a Packers win, the first time in nearly a month. We love to celebrate those. Why you giving me that squint, Jordan? I know it's been almost a month since we've had to say that, or since we could say that sentence, as the Packers beat the Cincinnati Bengals, the Joe Flacco Cincinnati Bengals, 27-18, as they survived the second half surge by Joe Flacco and primarily Jamar Chase. So, to talk about all about that game is my lovely co-host Jordan Tresky. Jordan, how are you doing, buddy?
Bum, bum, ding, bum, bum, ding. Joe Flack, go!
I don't like you. How long were you thinking about doing that? It had to have been hours.
Yeah.
God, how are you doing? Besides that,
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Packers won. We can dive into how uh, comfortable and confident of a victory it was. But
yeah,
judging by your reaction, we
those are
will be getting
words.
into that. Yes,
Those are
yes.
words.
Yeah,
Um,
but a win
a
nonetheless.
win nonetheless. Let's start with I think the highlight of the day, and we could probably there's probably a couple, but my highlight of the day is Matthew Golden's breakout game. Three receptions, 86 yards, a long of 35. He had 5 targets and along with 2 carries of 8 yards each. We really saw the dynamic way, I guess the dynamism he brings to this offense because he just gets open. Like he gets open. I think a couple of his catches where he was just like there was nobody near him, and then that catch down the sideline, I think in the late third or fourth quarter, was just beautiful. That where Love bombs it down the left sideline, it just drops into a bucket, and I don't know the last time I was confident a guy could catch that ball, and Golden just gets his hands up late and just lets it drop in for a like 30-yard gain or something, like a 35-yard gain or something like that. It was really nice, and like this is what we wanted to see with Matthew Golden. They still use him a little bit in the run game, but until they figure out who they want to use between Savion Williams, Bull Melton, Matthew Golden, or Christian Watson when he comes back, he'll always be used somewhat in the run game, I think. But this is the what we kind of wanted to see this week from Matthew Golden against a not so good secondary. He separates and makes big plays that really ignited the offense when they needed it a few times today.
Per NFL Next Gen stats, Matthew Golden has accumulated 4 receptions on deep passes, which means 20 plus air yards this season, matching the combined total of all other Packers players, which is 4.
That's crazy.
Um, Crazy. I think it is becoming more clear that whatever our feelings are with this Packers offense, and I think a lot of it just stems on execution stuff. You're not going to be perfect, but how roles are defined are becoming more clear to me. And some of that is just because you don't have everybody available. It gets a lot harder when you have a Jaden Reed. Dontavia Wicks left this game midway through. So really, like the big pass catchers and wide receivers in question were Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft, Romeo Dobbs, Josh Jacobs. That's about it. Can't really think of anybody else in kind of the mix. So for me, it was really good to see Golden not only just get targets down the field, but just looks like I like the kind of diversity of what we're seeing. Like it is very reminiscent of rookie year Christian Watson that he was kind of this gadget guy that maybe once or 2 times a week in the first few weeks that he was healthy, obviously, um, got more and more looks downfield, inch by inch, yard by yard, however you want to define it. And then today, really, like that big play that he converted in a big spot when I think that led to the field goal that put it at 27-18. Um, but it was the second drive of like we saw the kind of east west jet sweep kind of runs, but it was also he had a big play where it was kind of like a short dot target, and there was a lot of open field ahead of him. And he just has this shake to him that
Mm-hmm.
can go the Cowboys game way, where he is dancing everywhere and losing yards because there's a swarm of defenders that he's just trying to make plays.
Right.
And then it's more sound and what you want to see like today, where he just has a little bit of flair that I think compared to a Dobbs who I feel like Romeo Dobbs is just kind of we'll get to him more clearly, but I think his game is just very processed, not mechanical, but just sound. He has some flash and flair to his game too, not to denigrate him, but there's just something kind of working here where every part of the offense has its own feel. And it's not a surprise to say that the Packers and under Matt LaFleur have we've seen this work with other players and other pieces. But for what they have available right now, it is I don't know, it's very fun. And I think it just, by and large, it helps someone like Jordan Love command the offense and that he can kind of get what he wants from all three levels of the field. And it it works. It's been working.
Yeah, I like to continue the Matthew Golden point. He had like probably the biggest catch of the of the game in the fourth quarter when it was 3rd and 9. Packers are driving, trying to ice this game. 3rd and 9 from the Bengals 39.5, it looks like, and Jordan Love rolls out to his left and finds Matthew Golden streaking across the middle of the field towards the sideline. Has a good 2 yard separation from his defender, catches it with his hands, gets out of bounds, and base not ices the game, but gets them within to field goal range to then ice the game with the field goal. And so it's plays like that where he's just rolling back to his quarterback and making himself available. That's wise beyond his rookie year. Like that's just a good
Yeah.
play and has good chemistry with Jordan Love already to know like that's what's going on. Maybe it's scripted that way, but I would say it's the way it looked. It didn't look like it was scripted that way. It just looked like it was a Jordan Love kind of bounced out to his left. Matthew Golden was there. Great pitch and catch, and on their way to icing the game. His
Yeah.
uh his last 3 games, 12 catches on 15 targets for 196 yards. It's pretty good.
That's something.
Pretty good. He's on his way. And like I said, I think it's fair to classify this as the breakout game. 100 total yards from scrimmage for him. Still no touchdown, but we'll take it, kind of thing. Um, excuse me. Sorry. Building towards success is what Matthew Golden is doing right now.
Yeah. And I think we were kind of talking about this pre-pod for all the listeners out there. But how we define breakout game, I feel like this is the type of listening to a lot of fantasy football podcasts. It's a lot of like this is the guy that he's got the hot hand, so you pick him up in fantasy, or like just because he has a big game, that means like you carry that to the end of the season, and he's going to finish at these marks for whatever. Tucker Craft is a perfect example of a guy that, again, finished with 2 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown today. We were, after week 2, the win over Washington, we were saying this is his breakout game. This is his, you know, ascendance as the next big play tight end. Not to, again, denigrate what he's been doing. But these things come and go. It can hit high right now, like for Matthew Golden, and then it kind of saunters down and then goes back up and down. It's like breakout game. I feel like has become this like this is what we expect. This is the standard that we expect for the rest of the season. I think it's more of a reflection of preparation, meeting, execution, and if it's in bigger spots as the season goes along, which we obviously hope to be the case, Matthew Golden is looking like he can do that. I'm not saying that this is the types of games that we expect from Matthew Golden here moving forward because one, the wide receiver room is going to get a lot more complicated if guys come back as soon as Christian Watson gets on the field.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents there on that subject. But even looking at snap counts, I'm Acme Packing Company already had some courtesy of Justin Mosquito. He already had snap counts from this game. It was Romeo Dobbs at 51, Matthew Golden at 42, Malik Heath at 27. That's in part because of Devontae Wicks or Dontavian Wicks. Jesus. Um, Finishing at 21 before he got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and then Savion Williams had 7. So it's kind of bare bones for this unit right now, and
Yeah,
depending on where,
it's so bare bones that the Drake Bull Melton out of the cornerback room.
yeah, yeah, yes, you're correct. You're
Continue your
correct, sir.
continue your point.
No, I was just gonna say I think it's more midweek discussion, but I think that also contributes to the still a lot of guys still got a lot of targets today, but
Yeah,
it's very different than how it had looked even earlier this season with this Packers offense.
I mean honestly, like this is probably like one of their more tampered down games when it came to targets. Only 7 guys got
Very
targets
stripped
today.
down. Yeah.
Like we didn't see any backup tight ends get. Well, Musgrave got 1 target, but like no Ben Sims, no John Fitzpatrick targets, no Chris Brooks targets out of the backfield. Like 7 guys, I think is pretty normal for like an average across the NFL kind of thing. And so, uh, all that in part comes from Jordan Love, 19 to 26, 259 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and 1 sack. That took was in the he took in the I think the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the interception, was it a good throw? No, I probably not a advisable throw with the defender in front of him. I think it was Dobbs that was there. Bad tip. This gets picked off. It's not good, not bad, is what I'll say. Like I'm not upset with the throw, even though I don't think it was a necessarily smart throw. I get why he was trying to put it there. He was like believing he could put it there. But after that, he locked in. Like I think he had a pretty decent game after that. Wasn't really putting the ball in harm's way. Has a good scramble late in the game to pick up a first down. Um, yeah, just a good game from Jordan Love today.
Yeah, the opening drive interception was frustrating to say the least, especially they were
It's a
if
long
they weren't in
drive.
red it was a long drive. If they weren't in red zone, they were certainly knocking on the door.
It was, yeah, 19 yard line.
Yeah. And it's just it's the trademark Love play. He's scrambling out wide. Not necessarily it's always going to look like this, but it's the characteristics of trying to do too much. He's throwing across his body in a angle that is not necessarily lining up with where the wide receiver was at the time, and it was Romeo Dobbs trying to make a play behind his body that gets batted and falls in the hands of, I believe, was it DJ Turner? Forget who it was. Who I will say he had a good game today of the Bengals secondary. You muted.
No, it wasn't by DJ Turner. I think he tipped it. It was Stone. I forget his first name.
Oh, Geno Stone.
Yeah, Geno Stone.
Gen Zero. Um, but no, I thought outside of that, it was a very good game. I mean, I think
From Jordan Love.
correct.
Not the game itself. We'll get to that.
No, no, no. I think Jordan Love's game was very good. I
Yeah.
think it's fallen in line with how he has been for most of the season. Um, and even like interception aside, which we have not seen a lot of, um, even going back to I think it's week 12 of last year, basically when he got back healthy.
Yeah.
Um, he is still making plays. Like I felt like he just, I like his. It scares the hell out of me how he extends plays on the ground because his sliding is really weird. He just doesn't. He has like the intent and like, I think the perfect example was the 3rd and 2 where he starts to scramble out wide, defenders coming at him. There's a block, then he kind of goes in. Another block comes in where it opens up a hole for him just to get the first down, and he gets tackled.
Yeah.
It was kind of like
Yeah.
this weird like
Yeah,
labyrinthian
it
like
was
run.
towards the end of the game. It was a designed rollout to throw it in the flat, but the flat was
Yes,
covered, and so ends up finding a hole to get 3 yards on a 3rd and 2 or 4th and 2, whatever it was.
and it's like he kind of he knows how to freelance. Like it's different than Rodgers. Not to just compare to Rodgers, and that Rodgers just kind of has this. He has this preternatural ability of like being able to see and like know how not to go what he was doing in Enigma, where he like diagnoses like every part of the field and like can see how this guy's gonna react if he goes this way or whatever. Love is very just like you're kind of riding this roller coaster of like he has the idea. It's not necessarily gonna match with where his mind is going with it. But outside of those plays that scare the hell out of me, I think he just looked good. Like I really have liked what we've seen of him this season, and you know, it's it's an offense that still looks like it's in mud, and then he can just uncork a big throw to Matthew Golden, and it's like, okay, like I get it. You read it.
We'll put a pin in the mud for now. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, we will.
Um, but let's go on to Josh Jacobs because I think he had another really good day today. Um, ends up with 93 yards on the ground, including 2 touchdowns, adding on 57 yards through the air. Just a 154 day, if not mistaken. That's no, that's not right. Yeah,
150.
150 total yards from scrimmage uh, for Josh Jacobs. He's coming on, right? He started slow. We were kind of worried about him, kind of not doing so hot. Then he comes back in both the Dallas game before the bye and now in this game against Cincinnati, really looking like his old self. He's breaking off big runs. His long was 16 today. He had a couple runs of like 10 yards to get first downs, and like making a lot of good cuts too. So like if not if this team is going to go anywhere, but this offense works a lot better when the run game is going and they can work off play action. And like this has been a welcomed sight to see Josh Jacobs doing so well these last 2 games.
Yeah, I really have liked what we've seen from him. I thought he even revealed after the game that he had thrown up before, during, and after the game.
He
He was
was
under the weather.
oh god.
Yeah. So, um, I I mean that's more ability than he already has more ability than I have on a good day. So on a bad day, and he does that, it's like, oh, uh, yeah, you're superhuman
Yeah, not
compared to
yeah.
any mere mortal. But I really I just think one he has really I felt like there was more urgency. They found the ways of trying to get clear running lanes. I mean, there was one his second touchdown run, I think it was just right up the middle,
Yep.
right up the gut, wide open. It was maybe the best um, blocking that the Packers have had so
Yeah.
far this season on a
Yeah.
single play.
I'd agree with that.
Um, and I just feel like they've after some early turbulence, I think they've found the kind of dynamics with the run offense that the running game, I should say, that suits Jacobs. There's a lot less outside the tackles trying to get him to bounce out wide, which is not his game. He's a north south runner. It's a one cut kind of yada 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 that we talked about. It leads to, as I know is going to get under or has gotten under your skin, of the east west Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, Bo Melton kind of stuff. But I think they're realizing that they're just cutting that out. Like they're cutting that out for Josh Jacobs. He can't do that. They don't have the push, nor does he. I don't think that suits his game for what was working last year and what has worked so far this year.
I don't think he's fast, but I don't think let me back up. He's fast. I don't think he has outside the tackle like big looping run outside to down the sideline type of speed to where
Like a Barry, it's where that's like Barry Sanders level of like, you know what I mean?
yeah, but it makes me laugh that you pulled like a running back from
That's Hall of Fame.
yeah.
Like,
You
yeah,
pulled one of the best running backs of all time where you could say like Jameer Gibbs. Like he has the outside speed. What?
that could be the next Barry Sanders. He plays for the team that Barry Sanders. No, I'm joking.
Right,
I'm joking.
I understand, but like that type of back, or like I can't think of one off the top of my head right now besides Jameer Gibbs, but just those guys that have that ability to turn that corner and get outside of the edge rusher or whoever's over there and break it off that like Devon A Chain is really good at that. Um, he's better between the tackles, and so
Yeah,
the line this week. This is again courtesy of Acme Packing Company. EJ, Tom, Banks, and Walker all had 60 snaps on the line, and then Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan rotated at right guard, but Jordan Morgan played the majority of it, with 49 of the 60, and so Sean Ryan getting the other 11 snaps, and so like you hope that this is the beginning of them just like staying healthy and like keeping a solid team out there, and hopefully like Jordan Morgan just sticks at right guard and they don't have to rotate Sean Ryan in. Like Sean Ryan's good. I'm not gonna disparage him and like punch him while he's down kind of thing as he's slowly losing the grasp on his spot, but like the Jacobs looked good this week. The line I thought looked good this week. They protected him well. Love wasn't under pressure. Excuse me, wasn't under pressure that much. Like he was had some tight pockets, but nothing super uneasy, I'll say. And so if this is like the beginning of them looking like a cohesive unit, we're on our way to something good.
and for what it's worth, I don't think it was a coincidence that the Packers' pockets and run protection looked, or run blocking rather, looked really good because of Trey Hendrickson leaving. He
Yeah,
left late in the first half. Like I think the D line for Cincinnati was pretty just kind of neutralized when he left the game, and there wasn't really a lot of disruption from the front four for them.
right. So all right, let's talk about the nature of this game because we'll get into the defense in a minute, but like I think a lot of my I guess the word I'll say is angst with this game is like this team is bad, right? Like this team stinks. Jamar Chase is the sole highlight of this team outside of Trey Hendrickson. T. Higgins is fine. Say about him what you will. He's good. We wanted him to be a Packer last off season, but they brought in Joe Flacco like 4 days ago. If I'm not mistaken, it was Wednesday or Thursday, and so on half a week's of practice and 15 years of experience, he's able to go 29 to 45, 219 and two touchdowns, and like almost lead them back into this game. The offense should have had this game put away like so much earlier than it was. It was never really put away until Evan McPherson mixed that kick at the end of the game. And I believe it was Zach Cruz made a point on Twitter earlier, and he said, "Oh, so I can scroll. Yeah, seems fair to oscillate between, or he goes, seems fair to me to oscillate between one, Packers were in control essentially the whole game and won by two scores. Two, were a failed third and long away. That's the Matthew Golden pass and catch we talked about earlier. From giving the ball back up, only up 6 points in a game that they had no business being close. And so like he goes, I'll just read his thread because I think it's a good point. But then I think you have to land on this. It's a win in October. The Packers have one loss entering week 7. This is a good team. Flashes are great. You just have to be building towards your best to the end of the year. And he finishes with, if you told me this team was talented enough to go on a deep playoff run, I'd agree with you. If you told me this team isn't playing at a level required of a deep playoff run right now, I'd agree with you. Good thing there's 12 more to play. I think Zach does a pretty good job wrapping up my thoughts on that in a nice sort of 3 tweet run because they're so good. They look so good when they're clicking. When everything is going right, they just look like a fantastic offense. I think it was the first Josh Jacobs touchdown, or it was the second one in the second half where let me see if I can find the play by play real quick. It was the one in the fourth quarter. So they have the end around to Bull Melton, or I'm sorry, the jet sweep to Bull Melton for 3 yards, and then a Jordan Love pass to Romeo Dobbs for 8, a Josh Jacobs run for 11, a Josh Jacobs run for 3, a Jordan Love pass to Romeo Dobbs for 12, a 7-yard pass to Luke Musgrave, a 5-yard run for Josh Jacobs, 3 yards for Josh Jacobs, and then the 14-yard touchdown run at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Like, nothing backwards. Nothing backwards. A lot of the stuff in the first half, they like, and where they get themselves into trouble is when they try to like throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, or they try to get too cute with end arounds or jet sweeps, and things like that. And that's not to say I'm opposed to a screen. I'm not opposed to a screen or a bubble screen or getting those guys out in space with the ball in their hand to make something happen. That like those are good plays, right? But when they need to get the offense going and when they need to like have a drive, you don't really see them go to that very often. They start throwing the ball forward. And I think that's my biggest gripe is that, and if you guys listen to the episode with Dusty, I kind of talked about it with him too, is that they have a recipe seemingly for success when they go on touchdown drives. And it's and this is super like hashtag analysis, it's moving the ball down the field. Like, it's not moving the ball towards the sideline and trying to get out in space that way. Like, I can't remember the last time Jordan where they had a screen that went for like a big play, right? Like, screens in the nature of themselves don't really garner big plays, but there's screens across the league every couple of weeks where they go for 35, 40 yards or a touchdown just because that's the nature of how blocking works out sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, I think um like Matthew Golden, I think had one a couple weeks ago. We had a good screen for like 10 yards, and like that's fine. Like, I'm happy about that because again, it's a positive play. But it feels like anecdotally in my vision of how things work, this offense looks at its best when they put the ball in Jordan Love's hands and he throws it towards the end zone. Like, not into the end zone, just towards the where he's trying to go. And where Josh Jacobs runs through the tackles. And I get that you don't want to be predictable, and I get that a lot of offensive structure comes from giving teams the same look but running different plays out of it. Like, that's just like the whole mind games of like they run a couple plays that set up a bigger play towards the end of the game. Like, I understand all of that. But when you go 11 plays interception, that's not don't have a problem with that. They had it good. Next drive is a field goal, 12 plays, 71 yards. The third drive is a run with Emmanuel Wilson for 2 yards off the right side, Emmanuel Wilson off the left end for 6 yards, and then an incomplete pass. Or I'm sorry, then a pass to Emmanuel Wilson behind the line of scrimmage for negative 4 yards, punt. Like, that's, and you're up 3-0. Like, I need more against this team, right? And then they punt at the end of the first half as well after a pair of really good plays. Deep to Tucker Craft for 24 yards. Big run by Josh Jacobs for 12. Incomplete, short left to Romeo Dobbs. Um, 5 yards to Josh Jacobs on a weird play that was challenged to be still in the field of play, which I don't really understand why they challenged it in the first place. But then an incomplete pass from Romeo Dobbs, punt. Um, and I didn't really care for that punt, honestly. Like, at the end of at the end of the first half,
Oh, yeah,
they're
yeah.
they're up what 10-0, and they don't get the ball coming out of halftime. You're at the Cincinnati 42. Joe Flacco and company have not been able to move the ball all day long. Like, they've had uh, drives of 3-5-3-3 to that point. They've had quick math.
They had 73, or I think either 73 or 63 total yards of offense in the first half.
Yeah, they had 14 plays in 4 drives. Their fifth drive, that was the missed Evan McPherson field goal at the end of the half, was 9. So if you're an offense trying to put your shoe on the throat of the opponent, you're in their territory, you have had momentum all day long. You're just coming off a touchdown drive. There's about a minute and 12 seconds left in the half, counting for the punt and whatever it was. Why not go for it? It's 4th and 5. Like, if you don't get it, at least you're aggressive, and I can live with that fact because you're trying to not let them get the ball back. Like they are a timeout away from giving up a 67-yard field goal. Like that timeout from out the floor saved an NFL record. It hits the crossbar and goes in. And you're like, are you kidding me? Going into halftime. And that proved to be like it mattered. They
Yeah,
if they
it was
make that
relevant.
field goal, they're only down a touchdown at the end of the game. And
Yeah,
so or literally 6 points, and they could have kicked it for 7 to go ahead. And so that's to bring it all back around. I don't understand why or when Matt LaFleur chooses to be aggressive. Like I don't want to say it's a coin flip, but it really does feel like a coin flip sometimes. Or even worse, I think it's all like feeling, how he feels the game is going versus what I would like them to do is be like the Lions and where it's like the analytics say you should go this like go for it here, we should go for it here. Like I know that Dan Campbell has been like burned by that a few times in big spots, but more often than not, and they have a much high powered offense, like they have a lot better uh, group of players on that offense than the Packers do that they can rely on. But I would like to see that level of analysis when it came to when they go for it because 4th and 5 on the opponent 42 up 10 when you don't get the ball back out of the half should be a go for it moment.
I agree. I think your monologue. It sounds like I'm yelling.
Rude.
No, it's not. Because I think you're hitting on a lot of things that we are all feeling. I'm certainly feeling. I was desperately trying to find this graph, and I can't remember if it was shared in the Discord. Join our GSP Discord, please. Or on Blue Sky from Great Bull Riders. But they had a breakdown of it might have even been a Packers beat writer for all I know. They had a great breakdown of scoring breakdown by quarter, by halves for every team. And the Packers, I believe, without having the exact numbers, which not helping the cause right now, there they were the worst fourth quarter team in terms of like they had like a negative point differential. Maybe not the worst, but they were. It was kind of shocking compared to the first three. My counter would be, I think, as much as the offense, if we look at it, there's a lot of year over year continuity. Really, the most significant change outside of Matthew Golden is going with Aaron Banks on the offensive line, shifting over Elton Jenkins, and then injuries, yada yada. This offense and the feel for the game, I think that is the most important aspect of this and how we talk about it. Because you can't really do that on defense. On offense, the feel for the game is so apparent because it burns clock. Like there's so many different mechanisms at play. And I think for my where I stand, I don't know if we could ever really say that the Packers have a killer instinct. I think they play their way. And if you think about all the games that they have played
It's a lot of games.
this season,
Sorry.
um,
Sorry.
they've scored first every game.
I think so. I
They've had
think
the
so.
lead going not going into halftime, but certainly I know the Dallas game they were trailing, but they've fallen into predictable rhythms, and they kind of we haven't seen this team like start off on a down note,
No.
whether it's on offense or on defense.
I think that you're making a great point.
So the rhythms are familiar in that because we are seeing the same games. I know Keith, shout out Keith, he had mentioned it before. I saw it in a discussion on our Packers channel of like they've kind of played similar rhythms throughout each and every game. It just veers off course based on if the other team scores, if the Packers defense makes plays, or whatever the case may be. So until that happens, I mean, we'll know more about this team, but they don't have a killer instinct because they're kind of supercharged right away in that they put their best foot forward. They're either, today with notwithstanding, the defense is coming to make big plays and kind of set the tone early that way, which we've seen against Detroit, Washington, today against Cincinnati. And then the offense kind of picks up the slack when the defense starts to get whittled down, maybe injuries or the other, you know, halftime adjustments. I mean, a lot of the scores that we've seen come from all five of their opponents have they've given up big points in the second half. It's not like a lot, but it's noticeable enough that it leads to the stat that I tried to say earlier. So I think your point is they don't have a killer instinct because they are starting off so hot that it's going to hit room temp eventually, and it's a matter of like holding on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I don't think we can answer a question that we haven't that this team hasn't been asked at in the way that what does it look like when games don't look how they have been for 4 to 5 games so far.
Yeah. I think you're 100% right. They don't really have a killer instinct, and maybe that's in part because they just want to play their game throughout the four quarters. But I think like that comes back to bite you because you think you can play your game all the time, right?
Yeah,
I think that's kind of maybe not. I guess I don't really have like a good example of like a critical game where this matters, where they like were ahead and came back and lost. You know what it is, which is going way back. It's kind of the Falcons game where they lost at the end, where they were in control the entire time and then lose it at the end because they were just kind of playing their own game and walking down the field versus trying to like put them away. And I think that's accurately descripted or I guess put into a way that's yes, that is my problem. I want them to score 40 points on this Bengals team because this Bengals team stinks. Like time of possession was a big part of like half like why this game wasn't 30 plus. Like if Love doesn't throw the interception on the tip ball, they have a touchdown on that drive most likely. Then you're
or a field goal will hit
or a
30.
field goal. Like right, it just a score right.
Yeah,
But then they come out of the second half, the Bengals do, and go on a 10-minute drive for a touchdown. Like they 17 plays, 78 yards in 10 minutes. That's a long drive. And so, sorry listeners if that was loud. I just punched my mic.
your anger is
My anger is just
fuel.
it's fueling this mic abuse, which is what the alternate name of this podcast is mic abuse.
Yes.
um I just want them to play with more like fu attitude, and they really don't. And I think like the offense doesn't. The defense has a lot of tenacity and a lot of like grit. I'll say, but the offense just don't. They just kind of they're all the
I don't
offense
think I think
goes like
both
Jordan
units are
Love.
so different.
So different.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's just offense and defense in general. Like you're kind of built different if you're on either side or whatever side you fall on. But there is just like a difference in how I just feel like the offense starts to pick up the defense when the defense is slacking, and it vice versa when the offense is let throws a pick or a field goal gets blocked or they have to settle for a punt. Like, and shout out to Dusty who made the point when we talked to him a couple weeks ago. It's like this team does not have a lot of possessions, so
No.
it makes each drive that much more precious that you get three, that you get seven.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and when they don't, it leads to a lot of frustration. Like they're not doing a lot of three and outs.
No.
They're building offensive drives that for whatever reason a couple weeks ago is a lot of I think it was a lot of self-inflicted errors, obviously holding calls, offensive line problems, that thing, those types of things. And then I I I don't know. I think it's getting there, but this overwhelming juggernaut that I think we were buying into the hype, and a lot of people were post Parsons trade. it's it's quieted for a lot of justified reasons in that they're playing their own game. They're a good team. They're just not overwhelming opponents. And maybe that's just not what they want to do right now. They're still fight. They really are still figuring out who they are and what is going to carry them to success this season.
which is
That's
which is weird because they shouldn't need to know who they are on offense. They're the same team. Like Matthew Golden and Christian Watson kind of serve the same purpose within the offense, right? Stretch the field,
yeah.
run behind the line of scrimmage. They shouldn't need to be figuring this out. And I think again that this is an amalgamation argument of like what frustrates me with the offense, even though they won today. But it's a win where it's like, okay, missed the field goal, I don't got to worry anymore. The game never felt out of hand, but that's the exact reason they lost the Browns game. It never felt out of hand until it was, and they
Yeah,
crapped all over
that is the
themselves.
perfect example of like they had a control over that game as
For what, 57 minutes?
57 minutes. The Browns didn't score until it was like under 5 minutes to go, and then they lost
Right.
the game. So that's where, and even the Dallas game, I know the Packers were trailing and a half, but like that was a shootout game. It they it's kind of 1A, 1B, 1C of the types of patterns that we've seen. So I'm very interested to see if what this team looks like if they don't score first.
I
And
agree. Like I'd like to see a situation where they don't win the coin toss and like the team on offense goes down, punches them in the mouth with a long like a 6 play 80-yard touchdown drive, right? Let's
yeah,
see what that offense looks like then and how they respond and if they do pick up the aggressiveness a little bit, see if they come back with that killer instinct. Like I think
yeah.
individual players on this team have killer instinct, but I don't think the play calling is killer instinctual to really hammer that point home.
I don't think the individual killer instinct has met to the team wide. I think there's a confidence in who they are. Killer instinct is very different in
Yeah,
that it is the Lions of it all. It is a couple years ago when the Chiefs were like at the peak of
at the peak of their powers, yeah. With
yeah,
like
marrying big plays and
the last
explosiveness.
Tyreek Hill Super Bowl, like that one,
Yeah.
where they were
Yes.
just like a juggernaut, where it was hard to envision stopping that offense.
Yeah. And they have a lot of again, I think even when I watching this game, I think we are still getting used to this team, and I understand your point of like this offense shouldn't need to figure things out because a lot of the guys that are there outside of a few exceptions like Matthew Golden, Aaron Banks, like these aren't newcomers
Right?
by and large,
No,
and
it's
some
a
of them
lot
are
of the same.
veterans.
It's a lot of the same.
So I do I don't know. Not to keep beating a dead horse. Like until they are forced to play a different way or respond to the game script not going in their direction, it's going to be illustrative of what this team is capable of doing when the stakes get a little higher.
Exactly, exactly. Um, to go back to a point that we made earlier, because this is a funny quote that I want to say. Talk about how good the offensive line was today. This is from Wes Hod, Packers reporter for Packers.com. Uh, about his second touchdown, the one that was right up the middle. Josh Jacobs quote: "That second touchdown, I could have probably fell, got up, and still scored. Probably one of the best blocked plays I've ever had in my career. So shout out the O line. Great job. Like
There you go.
kudos to the line, man. Kudos to the line. So all right, let's talk about the defense because I thought they played pretty well today, even though I do have believe it or not, Jordan, and I
You
said
got a
it,
nit to pick,
I have a nit to pick,
nit to
and
pack.
and I said it in the Discord that I hate how jaded this team makes me because they are good. Um,
Jaded. That's Aerosmith.
I know it's Aerosmith. You are not Steven Tyler.
I was born on his birthday, so
It's actually his birthday.
that's
Because
what I said. I was born on his birthday.
true, my apologies. My
And you
apologies.
know what I told him?
What did you
I
tell him?
told him I don't want to miss a thing.
God damn, Jordan. Um, defense does end up only allowing 18 points today. Um,
All in the second half.
all in the second half. like I think just Joe Flacco just kind of like said, I'm not really gonna play this game anymore. I'm gonna just kind of do what I know how to do playing
Joe
quarterback.
Flacco could have played this game with a cigarette in his mouth, and like he is just Jay Cutler, just on.
He's 10 years older.
Well,
Jay Cutler was not young.
yeah, okay, yes, I know what you're talking about
Like
now. Yeah, I
he's
was like
like
10 years older than Jay Cutler.
no,
No,
Jay Cutler at the end of his career was like 34. And
they showed him on the bench, and Jake Browning's like, I'm so peeved. Like, I should be out there. Like, he just had this like nervous energy, and Joe literally, I know they called him Joe Cool, but it's like backhanded because he's just like,
yeah, yeah, he just he just stares.
yeah, sorry,
But he said, I'm just gonna play the game I know how to play, and that's throw to the best receiver on the team, and that was Jamar Chase, who went for 10 for 94 and a touchdown with an insane touchdown catch. Um, the defense, like I said, played well. The secondary still is a problem for guys for going against guys like Jamar Chase, which like there aren't many guys like Jamar Chase. He's like the best receiver in the NFL. But if you're working towards that end goal towards the end of the year, like you're going to be playing Jamar Chase, you're going to be playing not this year, but you're going to be playing Justin Jefferson if they make it. You're going to be playing like Puka Nakua or AJ Brown if they decide to throw him the ball. Like there's just really good receivers across the NFL, especially on really good teams. It's kind of like what makes them good teams. And so I'm a little worried that way, but like I don't want to say the book is out because like I feel like this is just a common theme regardless. The Packers like front just isn't getting home. They're generating a lot of pressures, but this is I think 2 games in a row for sure. I forget how many sacks they had against the Browns when they placed the Browns. I'm gonna try and check that.
I believe they only had one.
I'm checking now. They had in fact 2 sacks against Joe Flacco when he was Brown. So that's 3 straight games of 2 sacks, 1 sack, and 1 sack. They only had one against Dak last week, or 2 weeks ago.
One sack on Dak 2 weeks.
Is that right, or are you repeating what I
No,
said?
I'm just repeating.
Okay, I'm double checking so I don't misspeak because I don't want to get this wrong. Yeah, only 1 sack, and that was the Micah Parsons one towards the end. They're generating a lot of pressures and muddying up pockets, but they're getting beat defensively with really quick throws to the outside or really quick throws over the middle. Like the teams against the Packers are picking on corners and just dink and dunking their way down the field and having success with it most of the time and scoring points with it. Like Dak, outside of Dak's elite game last week, it's what they did, what the Browns did against them, and it's what the the Bengals did today. Like there wasn't a whole lot of throws besides the 19-yard touchdown to Jamar Chase where Joe Flacco was firing it down the field. There's a lot of stuff towards the outside, short throws to Jamar Chase that had like three step drops, balls out. That just doesn't give.
Joe Flacco had a attempt, or his yards per pass was just under 5. Is that 4.9?
Yeah. And so I'd be curious. I wonder if I doubt. No, average
Eight
up.
dot.
Yeah, A dot's
Yeah,
not
they
going to
don't
be
have
out
that
yet.
stuff yet.
But like, I can't imagine it was very deep. Like they just got the ball into Jamar Chase's hands 10 times. He was targeted 12 times. Like his
Yeah,
longest was 19 yards, and that was his touchdown.
yeah.
So I
Again, a lot of that too. Second half.
right. I don't think they obviously like no one on the Bengals had a catch of longer than 19 yards. And so it's a lot of underneath stuff where they know they can get the ball out quick, and that really negates Micah Parsons and it negates Lucas Van Ness, who left with a toe injury, I believe, and um
No
and like
Wyatt.
and no Wyatt, which wasn't good, but it was fine. Chase Brown had an okay day. Um, but it just negates this pass rush, and I think they are like a lockdown second corner away because Carrington Valentine is fine. I think he gets picked on a lot, like a lot, from being like a sort of tidied up defense. Because if like Keyshawn Nixon's gonna have his moments, he had a couple today against Jamar Chase. Again, it's Jamar effing Chase. He's really good. But if you replaced Carrington Valentine with somebody just like league average, is what I'll say. Like I'm not gonna name a league average corner because I don't feel confident in my assumption of someone who's league average.
Careful,
I know.
careful.
Um, but a league average corner where they can just hold their own. They might give up a big play once in a while, but they're not going to get picked on. I think like that kind of ties
I don't think
this.
that's league average.
Well, not getting picked on, I think, is league average. Like you like where you're getting targeted.
That's really. I, I'm not trying to derail
You can
into
derail. You
semantics.
can derail the semantics. We can talk
I
about it.
think that's how I know Jeff Halfley. I think was talking about it with Xavier McKinney. It's like the reason why we're not seeing him make impact plays is that they are not throwing in ways that he's around the ball. Like
That's
he's had,
that's what I'm saying.
but that's a really high bar to me at least. That makes sense.
Yeah. Character Valentine, I mean, outside of today's game, and I get maybe I'm wrong, but Carrington Valentine amongst the cornerbacks is the third lowest or third highest targeted corner. Only
Are you
13
serious?
only 13 targets this year, which does not seem right. I feel like he's been
I mean,
targeted
there's a lot of
way more.
noise with zone and
I
man,
guess. Yeah.
and if you're around,
It feels like he's been and maybe I'm
it,
wrong. And
it
maybe
certainly has felt
maybe
that
this
way.
is a better stat. Through 4 games doesn't count today's game. 13.1 yards per reception is the second highest on the team. The first is Xavier McKinney, which kind of makes sense because if you're a safety in coverage, you're deep. So
Yeah,
maybe that's it. I don't know.
I thought that was
Regardless,
I thought that was NFL. By the way, I was reacting to NFL, not just Packers.
no, just Packers. Just
Okay,
Packers.
that makes more sense.
Yes. Um, Javon Bullard and Keyshawn lead the targets amongst the corners. Edrin Cooper and Quay have been targeted 26 times in coverage, which is crazy. But that's probably like flat throws and such like that. But either which way, my point being is that Micah Parsons has been really good. He is affecting this defense so heavily that offenses are having to give up explosive plays, like give up explosive play chances in lieu of dink and dunk offense, which is fine. But I think it really exposes the corners at times, and I'm worried about that the rest of the year because if they can't get home to the quarterback, they're not generating negative plays, and you're not like ending drives early, right? You're relying on the opponent to make their own mistakes to end drives versus making them end drives, which is similar to my nit that I'm going to pick is that they
Pick
can't
it.
get turnovers.
No,
They can't get turnovers. Like I don't know what happened to Ball King or what happened to
the
like
Liver King.
no, he's in prison, I'm pretty sure.
You're correct.
Um but like they don't have a I don't think they have a forced fumble this year and they have maybe one interception. They have two. We have a Xavier McKinney one in the Browns game and the Evan Williams ones in the Lions game in week 1. That's it. I don't think they have a forced fumble. I'm checking
I'm
because
searching the recesses of my brain.
they don't. According to PFF, I'm double checking the glossary to make sure it's right. I'm pretty sure FFM is forced fumbles. It is. Yeah,
Not
they
big time
they they
froze.
they have 2 turnovers on the year, and they have 2 in the first 3 games and none against the Cowboys and the Bengals. Like the Bengals, like again, it's not Jake Browning, but Joe Flacco was throwing interceptions left and right outside the Packers game in Cleveland. And so I don't know if it's just a nature of I've been talking a lot here, Jordan. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if it's just a nature of like again what offenses are forced to do against this Packers defense because of how good the pass rush is, or if this defense just can't generate turnovers. But they, for all the talk of the defense practicing the peanut punch all training camp, they haven't done it once. They've been trying, but I don't know if guys aren't strong enough or if they just aren't good at it. But it's
Yeah.
not working, and that's where Dusty's point that you alluded to, that this Packers team only has so many possessions and it's not a lot of them per game, really comes back to bite them. Because if you're only having seven drives a game, each one matters a lot, and then you're not generating more, which is a problem.
I think you're raising a good point to the defense. I would not to be. I think this is a very healthy discussion. So my counter would be the fact that they aren't forcing turnovers. And yes, would I say their second half defense is as good as the first half? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. Um, I still think it's a testament to how good this defense has been that they're not playing a very fickle game and that kind of can go up and down week to week, year over year. That this defense is still really good. I just think now we're falling in the rhythm of a guy can be traded to a team 4 days ago and come in pretty much just execute the bare bones of a game plan. And as long as he's throwing the ball within 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds, they're getting little 5 yard, 7 yard plays. Like they're moving the chains. I didn't really think that Cincinnati was going to come back in this game, but it was still mildly annoying. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I would put it at like 3. What?
It was mildly annoying.
It was mildly annoying. I'm like, why is this still a game? Why is Kevin Harlan like giving this like? There was weight in like late game calls that I was like, it doesn't meet the eye of like where it feels like it should be, but it's still within some level of doubt that you still have to finish the game hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, I think the defense like as long as teams play a very quick game, and we'll certainly see this against Pittsburgh, believe me, in a couple weeks. They keep playing quick, getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands like within 2.5 seconds, as I mentioned. It neutralizes Parsons. It neutralizes Rashawn Gary. Again, I think the Packers they have a pass rush. The problem is now with Wyatt out, it's all coming at the edges. And if Micah Parsons is kind of moving along the line, that changes how blocking schemes are effective. It's going to result in a lot more pre-snap audibles from the quarterback. But if you can beat guys coming from a 45-degree angle or getting bounced out and having to curl back in, that's more time that you have right under center. That's a different that is where not having Devontae Wyatt or not to speak of it, but it's where when you have don't have prime Kenny Clark anymore.
Right.
It's a difference. It's a big difference. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that to me is it just felt a lot of like the Bengals until that Chase touchdown. It was a lot of the dink and dump, check down, just keep the ball moving, burn clock, let's get points kind of strategy that until someone can marry that level of game management to Dak's big play,
Mm-hmm.
like kind of working the jab, and then here's the haymaker.
Here, yeah.
Like, what team is going to be doing that? I don't think it's going to be Philadelphia.
I mean, they're
um,
they're the ones, right?
I don't think they are.
I
I think
mean,
Philly has potential, but from how that team is playing, they're not playing
no,
like how they were last year.
no, but that doesn't mean I don't think they can. I'm not
I
going to
think
doubt.
every year's different,
Right.
though.
I'm not
Every
going
year's
to doubt.
different.
I'm not going to doubt them because through 5 weeks, like
I will.
they don't play for another month. I think they can pull it
I know,
together.
I know, but in terms of like you're
Eventually,
chasing
Jalen Hurts is
people,
going to throw AJ Brown the damn ball, and it'll all work out. Everything will fall into place.
I don't know. He has been throwing the ball. As someone who has AJ Brown in fantasy, he hasn't been throwing the ball, and the more that they've thrown to this team is more
Yeah.
mid.
Regardless.
But it is just like it, when you're thinking of the bigger threats and wanting to get out of the NFC, it's San Francisco. I mean, who knows? Team, I feel like every week just someone significant just goes down with an injury.
Puka had an injury today. He came back though.
He
Um,
did.
Quentin Johnson's out today for the Chargers. Who else went out today? Someone had a concussion. Um, doesn't matter regardless. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of dropping like flies across the NFL.
Do you actually? I would say the team that I think, weirdly enough, we would maybe want to see the Packers be more like is Seattle.
Kinda.
but
Yeah.
you also have maybe an all-pro wide receiver starting to hit his stride.
There's no maybe there.
Yeah,
JSN's really good.
he's really good.
Who
Who would
would
have
who
thought?
would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
Not me. Not
Oh,
not little Numac. Um, that is all to say. Packers defense is good.
yeah.
They're continually outside of the Dallas game giving up 13, 18, 13, 18 points. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. This is a extreme nit to pick. I also don't think they've really had a high competition this year. Like it's also like injury luck too. Like week one against the Lions, that's like their marquee win right now, right? Jane Daniels, that win is good too, but we haven't seen them look like the Commanders because Mariota's been playing. They've won a couple games with him, but like we don't know what Jane Daniels looks like this
And
season yet.
McLaurin too. They haven't had McLaurin
Haven't
for
had
some
Scary
games too.
Terry. The Browns, that's a fluke game. Like they should have won that game. The Bengals, or I'm sorry, the Cowboys, like really good. Like their offense is really good.
That is the benchmark of competition they want offensively
Yeah, pretty
in the
much.
games that they have played.
Yeah, I'd agree. And then the Bengals this week, and like
Yeah.
honestly, it doesn't get better. Like what was supposed to be a hard schedule that freaked us out is looking to be somewhat cakewalky.
Well,
Like
your point of like think of all the murderers row of wide receivers that Keyshawn Nixon was going to have to face, like
right,
the secondary was going to have to face.
doesn't matter if they don't have a quarterback. No Joe Burrow this week. Probably no Kyler Murray next week.
Yep.
With Aaron Rodgers and then Bryce Young and Jalen Hurts. Hopefully Jackson Dart isn't an All Pro by the time we face them in whatever week that is. Who knows what's going on in Minnesota in a month and a half?
Yeah.
Like Lamar Jackson is hurt. Like we play him at the end of the year. I don't know. It's just weird. So I'm a little annoyed they haven't. I'm a little annoyed they're not 5-0. Is what I'll say. Like they should be. Jordan
I'm
Tresky,
not. I.
you sit there in that chair of yours in
My
behind
glass house.
in your glass, not even your glass house. I'm you sit that in your podcast chair of yours, talking into that mic, and tell me you don't think they should be 5-0.
No, I agree. I'm
Yeah,
laughing. I'm just laughing. It is absolutely absurd that this team is at 5-0.
it's stupid, which is
It's
why
stupid. It's stupid that my brain cannot get the freaking Browns. The that Joe Flacco, 40-year-old Joe. We did it, Joe. They almost.
shut
That's what.
up.
That's what the Bengals were getting ready to do, but he couldn't do a second term of it.
No,
Um, but it is. It's
it's
dumb. Like they're
absurd,
not. It's dumb.
and like
Honestly,
that's what.
honestly,
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. This is pure fan like stupidity of on the level of would you sacrifice trading Giannis Antetokounmpo for a Brewers World Series that I saw multiple Milwaukee radio stations point out because they need to have callers call in for 30 freaking minutes for their stupid segments. I
Anyways,
digress. Um, I would rather this Packers team be 4-1 and the game that they have won would be against Cleveland and they lose that Cowboys game.
yeah,
Just take the L with the stupidity of the spectacle of the Micah Parsons return game.
I get
It
that.
would be a lot easier to swallow than they lost to the Browns and they tied to the Cowboys. It is so dumb. It's
Yeah,
just dumb.
they still go into week 7 with only one loss, which is a plus.
Yeah.
But it's just like they should be. They should have a better record. They should be undefeated.
If you
The
gave
the
what
72
grade
Miami
would you give the
Dolphins.
Packers?
The 72 Miami Dolphins should be shaking their boots right now. But
Yeah.
alas,
Well, that's because
what grade would I give the Packers? Like through five games. This is very much bye week content, Jordan. We should talk about this last week. Um,
4 games is tough to do though.
I know. It's just well, five
Add a
isn't
fifth.
easier. I'd say like a B plus.
I B plus is what I.
Like it's not an A, but it's not like the like it needs the plus there from the B. They like if they go on a little run here, which they are more than capable of doing, and get to like the middle of the season with one or two losses, I think I feel a lot better. That doesn't mean I feel a lot better about the process. I just feel a lot better that they can win this way, even though I would have an issue with it going the rest of the season. Like, right? Like if they come out and identify themselves like this is the team we're gonna be. We're just gonna be. I was gonna say it earlier. Everyone talks about Jordan Love. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He just kind of stays even killed the whole way. If that's how the offense is going to station its identity, that's fine. But at some point in the playoffs, you're going to get punched in the mouth, and you need to be able to get to that high and like have that instinct to put teams away, right? Like that's just what needs to happen. And honestly, Jordan, I think that's what happened in the Cowboys game after halftime. Like Jordan Love was great in the second half of that game and like
He
led
was the
them
best player in that half, the
correct.
second half.
They need to do more of that. Be
Yeah,
more and have an offense that looks like that. And so that's just where I've kind of I've landed on it. So we did that was a very like top down view of the defense for this game. Still good players. So I didn't want to forget about these guys. Um, much better game for Edgerrin Cooper this week. 11
yes.
tackles, a big tackle for a loss. Quay had 8 tackles. Evan Williams had 7 tackles. Like the 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 two linebackers looked really good. And then um, what I think could be interesting when it comes to moving forward, and thank you for still listening for getting to the actual game analysis of this after all of this, but what I think could be really interesting going forward, depending on how long Devontae Wyatt is out, is Barron Sorrell looked good today in the snaps that he had.
He got
Um,
after Flacco.
yeah, he had 13 snaps today, 8 of which were on special teams, so he had 5 snaps on defense, but he feel like I was seeing him on defense. And if Barron Sorrell can like come on really fast as a rookie edge rusher and make himself known and maybe swap snaps with Kingsley Enagbare and kind of like do that platoon, I think it gives them a unique opportunity to move Micah inside and try and get sacks up the middle that way. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
throw Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness on the outside and Micah up the middle with a couple of D tackles or something like that or whatever it may be. But if Barron Solo can like be an impact rookie and get after Joe Flacco like he did today against an admittedly bad offensive line from the Bengals, I think this edge rushing room is going to be really really good.
I certainly hope so. I think it has the potential. I mean, Lucas Van Ness left early. Kingsley Enagbare was a subject of some trade talks that will be something to monitor going into the deadline.
Also, I apologize.
Um,
I apologize. Barron Solo had 13 snaps on defense, 8 more on special teams.
Gotcha.
I didn't read that right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this kind of maybe veered in a different way that we wanted to approach the episode, but it was just one of those games that was good, but it was again mildly annoying that it was kind of in doubt, and it was nothing. It was very more than serviceable in terms of like how a lot of people played, but there's just something not all there. And I think today was like a perfect way to look at it in that they had moments, they had flash plays, they left some big plays on the table, and yet they got the job done even with the Bengals somewhat staying in the game. It's
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
I don't know.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's a great way to put it. So, all right. We almost forgot. We
Oh yeah.
almost forgot. 1 hour and 9 minutes into this podcast, Brandon McManus did not play in today's game. Instead, we got Lucas Havris. I'm butchering this. I
Haversick.
Haversick. I heard him say it on the broadcast. I was gonna remember it, and then I did not remember it. Goes 5 for 5 on his kicks today. 3 extra points and 2 field goals, including a 43-yarder. They did post game interviews with him. He looks like he's a character out of My Name Is Earl. Um, somebody
Yeah.
somebody tweeted. I think it was I don't know. I'm not gonna guess at who it was. Um, said that he was trying to find a like real man job after
Substitute teacher.
yeah in Cleveland.
More like substitute kicker.
That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So good on him. Hopefully, Brandon McManus comes back soon. If not, hopefully Lucas can continue his hot streak of kicking. But hopefully
Lucas have a sick kick.
that was bad. That was bad.
Well,
But
he
yes,
did a good job.
he did a good job. I'm happy.
Sick kick flip.
I'm gonna fight you. God. Um. Either way, glad he had a good game. Would have been very upset if we had to worry about kickers again. We might still take it a week at a time. So,
Yeah.
all right, folks. Jordan, do you have anything else before we go?
No, I think that about covers. I think that covers everything that happened. Javon Bullard left the game with a concussion, his
His
second
second
of
of
the
the
season.
season,
Not
not
great.
good. It's
Yeah,
scary, very
very
scary.
scary.
Hopefully, he's kind of thinks about his health a little bit. Packers need him as a secondary player, but that's all moot when it comes to
Pales. Yeah.
your brain health as a football player. Like I probably won't see him for a solid month at least. You'd hope, because like I laugh, but it's not funny to think about the severe damage three concussions would do in a season. Like that's
It's
some.
30. There was a guy, I mean, who was it? Charvarius Ward. He had a concussion during warm-ups today
I
for the
think so.
Colts.
Oh yeah,
It like it's
dude,
one I've never heard that before, but like
dude.
it is just like
Did you see the other Colts injury today? Not to shift
Anthony
seriousness.
Richardson.
Anthony Richardson broke. I'm sorry, Ty. He broke his fucking orbital bone using a leg band. Do you know
That might be the
how
most Anthony
hard
Richardson
that?
thing to have happened.
Do you know how bad that must have hurt, dude? You're using a leg band and it slips off your foot and hits you in the fucking face and breaks your eye bone, dude. No, I'm
I think it
good.
was I
I'm
think it was a
good.
target.
Um,
Daniel Jones was like, I know you filled in for me because we beat the Raiders 41-6 last week. I need more assurance of the starting job.
yeah. Regardless, that's all. That's all. Hopefully, Javon Bullard's okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he's okay. All right, folks. Thanks for listening to this weird pod. Is what I'll say. We took a weird approach to this one, but I genuinely liked how we kind of talked about it because there wasn't a whole lot of like football to talk about, but a lot of process to talk about, which I think is
Yeah.
how we obviously went about this. So
Think of it as like a chili, but instead you have it with noodles
no, I
and you
won't.
have a bunch of cheese on it.
I won't.
It's like that kind of chili.
I won't. Also, shout out Real Chili in Milwaukee. I'm excited for fall and winter because I'm gonna go slop up some very greasy and yummy chili. Fun
I had
fact.
chili
Fun
yesterday,
fact.
actually.
This is we're off tangent now, but the pod is done. So,
It's fine.
um,
No one's listening at this point.
they I hope they are. We'll see if
Oh,
anyone talks about my chili eating habits in the Discord or on Twitter. You can at me if you want. But we did a workouting um to Real Chili because it's near where I work, and we're like, let's all go to Real Chili, and we're not gonna pay for it. We'll just go and all get lunch together for supporting a local business. I'm like, yeah, sure. And I go in there and I'm starving. And I go with the guy. I went, yo, can I get a bowl of chili and two chili cheese dogs, please? And he goes, you want what? I was like, I want a bowl of chili and two chili cheese dogs. And he goes, like, you're not gonna be able to eat all that. Like that. Like, have you seen? It's not like they're big bowls, but it's a hearty bowl of chili.
it's hearty.
And he goes, you're gonna eat all that? I said, yeah, like it's hard. And he goes, okay. Thinking, I was like, I don't think you're gonna eat all that. I was like, I like quit worrying about me and take my fucking
Take
order.
my money.
So then I get the stuff, I eat it, and he goes, huh. I was like,
You
oh.
did it.
I was like, you call me fat? Like, what the fuck? I was hungry.
I mean, how big was the dog?
It's a regular
Are
hot
we
dog. It's
not
small.
like a Frankfurter?
No,
Not like
it's not a Costco hot dog.
you
It's a
know?
regular.
Yeah,
It's like a regular Nathan's hot dog. It's like regular Oscar Mayer hot dog. Nothing. No huge glizzy.
no huge glizzy, no dog that was. It the length of it was parallel to the bun.
Yes.
I did not say that purposely, but it worked.
Yes, it was.
Like it was not.
It wasn't spilling out of the bun. All right. Thank you
I,
for listening,
I don't know if this
folks.
is gonna make it.
It's staying in. Thank you for listening, folks. Through our episode of Talk of the Tundra, find all things GSPN at gspn.info. The link to our Discord is in the About section if you want to talk glizzies with Jordan, and I will happily do that, and how far it spills over the bun. Um, Check out all things Bucks as they kick off their season in under 2 weeks, I believe. Just beat the Bulls tonight in their preseason game.
10 days out.
10 days out. Check out all things Bucks over at the Bucks Get Tide on Eurostep. And we'll be back in your podcast feeds later this week as we preview the game against the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you so much for listening, and Jordan, thank you.
Thank you.